Hey, good morning. I am so excited this morning because today we are going to talk about how you are never too old to be a badass in your own health and your own life. And I know a lot of you that kind of follow my page have probably heard me mention my amazing coach, Shelly. And I'm super excited because she gets to join us today. And I can't tell you how amazing this whole experience has been because Shelly shared the gift of health with me. I shared it with Steve, who is here, and he has been sharing health with his mom, Sylvia. And we are here to just really represent the fact that this is such a beautiful, pay it forward community of people who just care about other people's well-being. And I'm really excited to introduce you guys to not only my coach Shelly, but also to my client Steve and his wonderful client Sylvia. So Shelly, I'm so glad you're here. Good morning.
Good morning, Jessica. Thanks for having me. I love your Badass Love brand, and cussing is not something I normally do, but I kind of like your definition of badass. So I looked it up today because in my world, it's Finding Beautiful Friday. And I looked up the definition of badass, and it means somebody who's tough and unrelenting. And I thought, wow, some tough and unrelenting love. That is a message I can get behind.
You know what's really amazing about that is the fact that Steve and I met about a month before he actually agreed to be my client. And I literally called him out of the blue one day and I was like, look, you are on my heart and the trajectory that you are going to die. And you and I both know it. And I would not let him go until he agreed to at least give me 30 days.
Boom.
That's a true story.
Awesome. That is awesome. So you are never too old to be beautiful or a badass or a beautiful badass, right? So that's our message. And I just cannot wait to introduce you to our client, Steven. So we do co-coaching. So Jessica and I work closely together. We are a team, and Steven, my goodness, like you have just come alive and awake. And tell us a little bit about your journey when Jessica was like badass loving you to death, right? And not pounding down your door. What was that like?
Well, what she did is she awakened the possibility. She was believing for me. So that was one of the things, because I was having a hard time believing that I could make something successful because I had failed several times, at least several times in a big way. And she, hearing the passion and the belief in her voice that I could do this, and she knew I could do it. And I'm like, gosh, 30 days, I can give something 30 days. And so within 3 weeks, my awakening had fully come. I mean, it keeps growing, actually. It's not just a single event, but it started within 3 weeks. I'm like, oh my word, this is crazy. And I started to believe and understand that this is a way of life and that I'm able to have this way of life. So here I am, down almost 60 pounds, close to 60.
Wow.
50% reduction in high blood meds. I'm 80% reduction in neuropathy meds. I'm no longer diabetic.
Wow.
Right? No longer diabetic, not taking meds. My A1C level is in normal range.
Boom.
Full of energy. I mean, it's crazy.
That sounds like some badass results right there, right?
I was gonna say, here I thought I was the only badass, but
sounds to me like Steve's a badass too.
Amen.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I call that process Finding Beautiful. Jesse calls it Badass Love. It's all the same thing, right? We're just different titles, because the way that I see it is you were already beautiful. You were already a badass. We were just coming along and awakening that in you so that you could step into who you truly have the potential to be. Right. And so, I mean, reversing diabetes, neuropathy meds decreased by 50%. That's like, you don't hear stories like that.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I was told that neuropathy would never subside.
Yeah.
We just had to manage the symptoms, and the medication has some very nasty side effects. So
Yeah.
my desire is a full release from that. I'm not quite there, but I know it's going to happen. I really believe it's going to happen.
Yeah. And one thing that you said when Jessica asked you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What was your response to that?
I didn't have an answer. I was hurting so much physically. I I could not answer the question. I really wasn't sure what 5 years could look like health wise if, because I was just coming home from work, or home from work or finishing work. And because the edema and the neuropathy was so bad, I just would put my feet up in bed and ice my legs and stay there most of the night. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so it's amazing. That's part of that awakening or belief, or what some people call universal realization. I love that,
Mm-hmm.
though, of realizing that I can picture what 5 years is going to look like from now. I write
Mm-hmm.
about what it's going to look like now.
Woo!
I know.
Can you give us a snapshot?
Yes. So 5 years from now, I see myself be fully healthy, still growing and learning all the time, but achieving optimum weight management, optimum health in my weight, in many other areas of my life, playing with my grandchildren, keeping up with my grandchildren, having freedom in my finances. I just, it's,
That's amazing.
I visualize it now. I can see that. I wasn't able to
Yes.
do that just
You
2 months
can see
ago.
it with your eyes. You can hold it in your hands, right?
It's good word.
So, Sylvia, I'm wondering, as a mama, I've got a son of my own. He's 19. How does that, what does hearing that do for your mama heart? I'm just curious.
Well, it it um, it puts tears in your eyes, but at the same time, they're tears of happiness because Stephen's always been an achiever. There isn't anything that he's never ever been able to do, and to see him gradually over time um, dwindle away, like he was saying, having fought and through cancer and became a survivor because of God and his will to want to live and beat it. Amazing doctors that it really was happening. And then to see him then go back off of that, which was a life, and death situation. And then to come into and find something that like this, that has brought him around to reality, something that my husband and I have been praying for that we couldn't do. And we kept trying to pray that what could we do to help him. And when this came forward and he told us about it, I just knew that paying it forward was probably the best investment we've ever made of our lives. And if this is what was going to work, it needed to happen now, because you never want your children to, you don't want to outlive your children.
Yeah.
And so for me, for him to be healthy, I know he has the willpower. He's a champion. He's shown that all through his life, that he's a champion. He's so good with people. People love him because he has an awesome personality. He's very intelligent. Stephen has always been very intelligent, and he loves to share. He's giving of himself so much that he had forgotten about giving to Stephen.
Yeah, that's good.
And self is where he had to start, from rock bottom. And I thank God that you all have brought him around to seeing what he still has potential, and that not just 5 years, but the rest of his life.
That's right, Mom.
And so I figured, if that's going to work for him, I got in a little bit of a slump myself because of medical issues from an auto accident. And then I realized, you know what, I have to do something I've got to get off of the meds that the doctors keep piling on you. And this to me has been fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I got to meet you last Saturday and you blew my mind away. So Stephen decided to pay it forward and coach with us. So now Jessica and Stephen are coaching Sylvia. And I
Yeah.
just love that here you are praying for Stephen. Here comes this sparkly-eyed, blonde, badass love girl into his life, awakens that champion inside of him. And he's like, Mom, you need this. Come with me. Let's do this together, right? And so I got to hear your story last Saturday, and I was so taken back because tell the people how old you are.
I'm just turned 80 in June the 11th. The
I
big
was like,
80.
what? You do not look 80, first of all. My mind was completely blown. And then you start telling me about the vision that you have for your future and just kind of about your transformation and what you're creating. And I was like, wow, because I have a vision of me being able to hike with my grandkids well into my elder years, you know, and to be hiking and teaching them and loving them. And so when I heard your story, it's almost like I'm looking into my future in a way. And so you spoke a lot of hope into me. So tell me a little bit about the future that you have for your life and for your years.
Well, it's in continuing to enjoy the grandchildren and the great grandchildren that are now coming along, thanks to be to Stephen's children. We have 2 new babies coming in the future, great grandbabies, and being able to enjoy them, and my husband to be able to be back. We turned on some music the other day that was on one of the shows we were watching, and I told my husband, that's what we need to do every day. We need to get up if we can't get outside because it's too hot. We need to turn that music on that we used to love to dance to when we were back in the 50s. And I said, get up and dance. And so I feel a lot more energy from what I'm doing and with the program. And so I see it enhancing my life and then again, my husband's at the same time. And then of course we've paid it forward for our son, Gary. And he will follow, I'm sure, in Stephen and my footsteps and achieve the program and the progress and the hope that you can get back into your life. So that's where I see our life is being able to add to and bring the rest of the family around to seeing what really can be for the future. Woo! And it can be healthy habits.
I need to interject real quickly. So we have a grandson and we have a grandchild on the way. So our grandbabies. He's still little. So anyway, yeah, that's awesome, Mom.
Yes, Seth, he's an angel.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. I love that. You know, health is really the new wealth, right? If you do not have your health, you really have nothing. You know, and we spend so much time focusing on accumulating wealth and, you know, making sure that retirement, right, that we have financial plans and retirement and all that jazz for when we're older. But how much time do we spend planning the health of our retirement, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So you are investing wisely, my friend. I just love your energy and that you're like, let's take the family, let's do this, you know, let's be healthy together. And so Jessica, I see your sparkly-eyed, glowing little face over there, your little nurse heart's beating so hard and you're just beaming with joy. How does it feel to know that because of your badass love and your relentless pursuit of believing in Steve, you have created this ripple effect? How does that feel?
I seriously cannot talk to this family without crying tears of happy every single time. And I did a Facebook Live a while back about how I've cried a lot of tears in my life. And a lot of them have been sad and heartbroken and frustrated and exhausted kind of tears. And now I get to like cry tears of happy because Steve said yes, because I would not stop because I believed so much in his future. And I'm just humbled at watching what that ripple effect is doing for this beautiful family, because they had a tree that was starting to wither, that was not looking bright. And now those leaves are turning green and they're turning to the sun and they're looking at creating more. And it's like, I have goosebumps. I have happy tears. Like, I can't tell you how blessed I am to get to be part of this journey. Like, thank you to both of you to allowing me to be part of this journey, because Steve, you could have said no, and Sylvia, you could have said no. And instead, here we are today with like, I probably shouldn't have put makeup on this morning. I can't stop the happy tears. Like, you guys are such a joy, and it's just such a beautiful thing to get to sit back and watch you literally changing the trajectory of your family tree. There are no words.
Yeah. And sharing it with the world and living out loud. And because, you know, it's really, our stories can unlock other people's prisons. And so if you're listening and you're like, something is clicking in your mind and you're like, man, I wish somebody loved me like that, right? I wish somebody would fight for me like that. Well, we will. So if you know anybody on the screen, Stephen, Jessica, Sylvia, myself, if you have connection with us, please reach out to wherever you saw this video, whoever shared this video with you, please reach out to them. And we would love to badass love you to your greatness. We would love that. So thanks for listening, everyone. You have a beautiful Friday, and it is never too late to be badass and beautiful.
Amen.
Love you guys.
Yeah, love you.